There are some lesser known facts about the famous actress Sridevi, and learning about them through the great Dr. Nori Dattatreyudu is quite interesting. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of all? If someone asks, the mirror in India would say Sridevi. Sridevi, a film artist from India, epitomized beauty as well as acting skills. There is a story of her mother, Rajeshwari. Born in Tirupati, a temple town, Rajeshwari aspired to become a film artist. What she could not become herself, she could vicariously attain through her daughter Sridevi. Debuting in the film world as a child artist, Sridevi quickly evolved as a famous film heroine in the southern film world. It hardly took any time for her to enter Bollywood of Hindi and conquer northern India as well. All through this journey, Rajeshwari always accompanied Sridevi and took great care of her. If I recollect, it was perhaps in 1995 when Sridevi had been very busy in shootings during the filming of Judai. Rajeshwari fainted on the sets. The prognosis pointed to brain cancer. The doctors at Chennai advised that she go to Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital at New York for the best treatment as she required surgery. So they had come to New York. Normally, whenever a patient comes from India to the US, they would firstly consult me. Similarly, Sridevi and her mother also tried to do the same. But I was overseas attending a conference at that time. Hence, the hospital organized an appointment for her with another doctor. A neurosurgeon examined all of her scans and decided for surgery. On May 26, before her being taken into the operating theatre, she had reportedly been very scared and had tightly held Sridevi's hand and asked her to request the doctors to properly perform the surgery. The family doctor who had accompanied them allegedly had smiled with a repartee. They would only do it properly. To tell the doctors to perform the surgery properly is like advising your daughter to act well. But fate had failed her. Rajeshwari's worst fears had come true. Although the neurosurgeon was an experienced professional, he did not correctly verify who she was before the surgery as the patients had been swabbed. The result, although she had a tumor on one side of the brain, he incised on the other side and prepared for surgery. But he could not find any tumor there. After further examination, he realized his mistake. The hospital management revealed the mistake to Sridevi. Most of the important newspapers, including the New York Times, carried the news in prominent headlines. The hospital suspended the doctor. The case was filed in court. The American President Bill Clinton also responded and further tightened restrictions on the hospitals. In the meanwhile, I returned from my conference and resumed my duties. I found a note on my desk about Sridevi's telephone call to me. I returned her call. I learned the details of the case. They also came and consulted me. As I had lost confidence in that hospital, they shifted Rajeshwari to Cornell University Hospital where I was working. During that time, Sridevi became close to me. Although Sridevi used to dominate with her screen presence. In real life, she was very shy and was very hesitant to talk to any outsider. Her mother was her world. Therefore, her mother's sickness and such a brazen mistake in the treatment thereof by an internationally reputed hospital shocked her. Without my mother, I am nothing, doctor. Will she recover? She used to ask me very naively. I should have gotten her treated by the best doctors in Chennai. Perhaps I have made a mistake. I am totally lost here and feeling very lonely. She used to lament with a kind of remorse. She also affirmed, I am glad that God has shown you to me to help me. During those difficult days, Boni Kapoor stood by her like a rock. While overseeing the treatment of Rajeshwari, he attended the court hearings regarding the surgery and also for the compensation for the error. 4 years ago in 1991, when Sridevi's father had died, Boni Kapoor had also greatly helped her to come out of her bereavement. Whatever had happened, she was nowhere responsible. She was in no way responsible for the hospital's mistake, and her mother would surely recover. Both were the facts. But to tell that to her and console her took a lot of time and effort. Only when explained in detail what the future course of treatment would be and what the results would be and how those would help her mother to recover did she get some solace. Assuaged of her feelings, of her fears, she saw her mother's surgery done correctly and also meticulously got her the required radiation therapy. Rajeshwari would recover within 6 to 8 weeks. A highly reputed hospital of North America has made a blunder. It's injustice to the patient. As another reputed hospital of the country, let us correct that mistake and render justice. Also, it's not proper to charge them for this. This was my stand with the hospital, and we at Cornell Hospital did not charge. Within that brief span of time, Sridevi had become very close to me as if she were my own little sister. In spite of such nerve-wracking tension, she still flew to India to participate in the shoot of a Malayalam movie Devaragam because his director Bharatan was the one who had given Sridevi her first break as an artist in an ad. It was a soap brand, Chandrika. Such was her integrity and character. After her mother was discharged, she continued to be treated as an outpatient. During those days, Sridevi used to visit my home. Although she was very reticent, she used to open up with me freely. If once she developed some trust in somebody, she would be comfortable. She developed that trust in an affinity with me. Though she was a superstar for the outside world, she was very much childlike at my home. In my office, despite my request, she would be very hesitant to sit in my chair. Suddenly, she would break into a tat-a-tat. While we both continued to converse in Telugu, Boni Kapoor used to discuss business with his distributors. Sometimes, when she started to reprimand him, he would say laughingly, Dr. Saab, the antenna has opened up. Let me run away now. Rajeshwari recovered and they left for India. But they have not forgotten me. She often used to phone me, whether to marry Boni or not, what would be the consequences. She had many such lurking doubts and used to discuss them with me for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes on a daily basis. I could not tell her anything for certain, but it assisted in her thought process. Very interesting. I could not tell her anything for certain, but assisted in her thought process. It was a very professional way of advising. Whenever I visited them in India, they treated me with special care. They organized very good vegetarian meals for me. Her mother also gave me some rare photographs of Sridevi which are not available to anyone else, such as her Arangetram, that's a debut. The year following her treatment in 1996, Sridevi and Boni Kapoor solemnized their marriage in a simple ceremony with a very few guests. When I went to India, I met them. They took me to Taj Coromandel at Chennai for lunch. It was just the three of us. Sridevi used to eat very little. I would often chide her, how can you survive eating so little? But she used to relish eating gongura, which is a red sorrel leaf. Gongura is a leafy plant which has many culinary uses, mostly popular in the Telugu states. That day she complained that she had pain in the stomach as if she were carrying a stone. Nevertheless, she could eat almost triple her normal intake. No, it's not any stone, perhaps it's a baby. The way you ate today suggests that you're probably carrying a child. Better get yourself tested, I told her. It was prophetic. She was confirmed pregnant. When Janhavi and Khushi were born, she felt elated. She sent their pictures to me. After 3 or 4 years, her mother Rajeshwari died of other ailments. After her mother, Sridevi had given me the next place in her hierarchy of relationships. I can attest to that with certainty. Thereafter, also, whenever Sridevi used to come to the US for any film shooting, we used to meet and spend time together talking. She visited a temple of Shirdi Sai Baba had built in the US. Whenever I was in Mumbai and wanted to visit Shirdi, a nearby temple town, she used to lend me her car, pack my breakfast before 4 a.m. and inquire about my well-being, once calling the driver every 2 or 3 hours. My friends who knew my closeness to her often used to ask me, "Can we come to your home? Can we give her some type of tribute?" That closeness only prompted us to invite her as a guest to a Tana conference, Telugu Association of North America, that took place in Los Angeles. Before she was invited to the dais, my daughter Priya made a brief introduction of her to an audience of almost 10,000. Also, an audiovisual made by me of about 4 minutes of her performances gleaned from several of her movies was shown. Sridevi told me later that she was delighted by both. A.N.R., Akkineni Nageswar Rao, the perennial hero of the Telugu film world, had also come as a guest to the same conference. In his eloquent speech, he shared many good things about Sridevi. We invited her as a guest once more for the celebrations of American Independence Day. "Doctor, can you tell me what should be appropriate for my speech for this occasion?" She requested and took notes. The way she delivered the speech in front of the audience and the later speech during the VIP supper were excellent. I was able to witness firsthand how she reportedly undergoes a metamorphosis in front of the camera. She was cool but very intelligent. Whenever I praised her, saying, "Oh, you are very talented," she used to laugh it away and say to me, "No, doctor, it's all the magic of the camera." Once, when we were at Hyderabad, we learned that Sridevi was also there in town for a shoot. My wife Subhadra and her friends, thoroughly decked out, went to meet her. After returning, my wife burst into continuous laughter as she narrated the scene. All of us had donned so much makeup while she was totally devoid of makeup. When we took some snaps along with her, she looked like a queen, all of us like her entourage. So enchanting was the beauty of Sridevi. She never used to fail to be in touch with me wherever I was, and made it a point to meet me if I were at Dubai. Once she told her daughter, young Janhavi, "Hey Janhavi, you should also become a famous doctor like Sir." Janhavi was equally naughty and paid a repartee. "Yes, certainly. If not in real life, in a movie I would portray that role." After a long gap, Sridevi came for a shoot in Manhattan, New York, as she was the star of a Hindi film, English Winglish. She used to return from the shoot very tired about 9 or 10 p.m., and we used to send her some freshly cooked hot South Indian fare such as pulihora, idli, sambar, etc. Her hard work did not go waste. The movie was a huge success. She was also very happy with the result. Normally, over the course of time, friends and siblings also, on a day-to-day basis, get out of touch as they are busy with the mundane affairs of their own family. I was no exception in regard to Sridevi. I became a little complacent, thinking that she had been happy with her family and children. In the meanwhile, the ghastly news of her death became viral. India has lost its favorite actress and heroine. The impact to me is different. I've lost my little sister. I went to console Boni Kapoor, her husband. Her home was like a temple without its deity. That family continues to be in touch with me. He sends me the published articles and write-ups about her. The children show me a great deal of respect. My blessings are there for them, as are my efforts to console them, but my loss is irreplaceable.